Welcome, everyone, to this completely unnecessary podcast. It's Tuesday. It's May 19th. It's 2020.
I'm trying to hold a yawn.
He's already sick of the podcast.
I'm so tired.
That's Ian Ferguson. I'm Pat Contra. Yeah, we're starting a little bit early recording. On the show today, we'll be talking about lots of fun stuff. Paper Mario Origami was announced. Clubhouse Games 51 trailer. The latest Nintendo Online game announcements. Nintendo sues Switch hackers. It's a very Nintendo-heavy podcast. Smash Brothers Ultimate drop from Evo. And it's not just because we're Nintendo fanboys. There's not that much going on.
I mean, we can just talk about Evo as Evo. It doesn't have to be Smash Brothers as the headline thing that we're discussing.
Well, it'll be the headline to get viewers on YouTube, but yes. And a Patreon poll topic and a Q&A. Ian.
Yes.
By the way, I think we're at week 15 for the haircut. Non-haircut, and it's holding on for dear life. Now it's at the point where when I'm working out, the hair is so long and sweaty it gets in my eyes and stings. So it's like, it stings.
It's fucking gross.
It's like my hair's gross, or that's
pull it back.
Pull it back. We want to put it up in a little.
No one's watching you. Pull it back as far as you can, and then just use like a hair clip.
Do I have a hair clip? Did someone leave a hair clip here I can use? I can do that, I guess.
I don't know. Brush some super glue through it.
Brush some, or is that? Or you always
slick it back.
Use some hair gel. I think the super glue would be hard to come out.
Yes, of course.
I remember that ice hair gel back in the metrosexual days. It was like that, those little tubes that shit didn't come out. I don't know if you remember that stuff from like the early 2000s.
I remember LA Looks from the 80s.
Well, no, that was just like putting sugar in your hair, like honey. That's what LA Looks was, just pure sugar. I guess that's how it stood your hair up. My cousin who went through his punk phase, who did like his huge mohawk, like I'm talking like a foot mohawk, literally did the old school method of like egg yolks.
Mm-hmm.
And you mix it
I
with
had a friend who did that once. He had it was real long. It was about like
yeah.
And he actually got it to he would maybe like once or twice a year he would actually stand it all the way up.
Yeah.
And egg yolks was what he not egg yolks. I think it's egg whites actually.
Oh, it's egg whites.
It's egg whites actually.
That's the sticky part.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess you turn your hair yellow if you use the egg yolks.
But yeah, I think egg whites was what he used.
How do we get on hair technology? I was more about the ice. It was called ice back then. There was like a green one. My hair had a green tint to it when I would do that. And like we're talking 2002, 2003. Don't hit me too hard on that. What did you do this weekend, Ian? I almost said Ian end.
Shit, what did I do? I played D&D. I played more Streets of Rage 4.
Wow.
3 weeks in a row now. I just keep playing that Streets of Rage 4.
Are you the one who randomly text me saying you got to get this game? Who texted me that?
Well, yeah, I think I did. But you texted something to me, and I just responded with a random non-answer.
Of course,
because that's what I was playing at the time.
Yes. I said I got Raglan. You said get Streets of Rage 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It was a response to you getting Raglan. Cleaned both locations of Luna for about 7 hours on Sunday, and yesterday we opened for our first. How should I put it? More full service curbside. We did a handful of curbside pickups during like lockdown. Just a handful where people could order during the week, and then we would go and they would just drive up and we'd run the orders out. But we're now open. No one can come in. People can walk up to the table. They can trade stuff in.
We have like a folding table set up.
One of our low boys that we used to keep the like discount stuff in.
Okay.
We have in front.
Do you keep the free bin out front with you?
The free bin is off to the side. The free bin is probably a carrier for disease.
I was saying that's the most diseases. That's a petri dish. The free bin.
So we're doing trade-ins, disinfecting them, gloves, masks, all that. It's a lot of steps. But everyone was nice yesterday. Everyone wore masks.
Wear masks, people, please.
It's really not that big of a fucking deal. So yeah, I mean, it was fine. But I mean, I'm I'm not doing the amount of work nearly that first responders and even other people who whose jobs were determined essential have been done. But I haven't had to do a lot of work for the past 2 months. So two full days of work, I'm exhausted, and my shoulder, doesn't hurt as much anymore. But it's exhausted today. Like just the constant movement. I'm like, it's weird. It's not like a lot of pain, but how do I describe it? It's like a tired muscle. Like it just feels tired. It doesn't want to fucking move.
We got to do some left hook training on the heavy bag in the garage. You got to get that back going. Get it going again.
I've been doing curls with anything that's slightly weighted when I have time. And
Slightly weighted?
And then like flies like this because that's where the problem really was.
Get the resistance bands. That would help a lot.
Well, the resistance ring that comes with Wii Fit. Actually,
is that
Ring
helping?
Fit? Yeah. Helps
Okay.
too. But I've just been like lifting water bottles and stuff, just trying to get some muscle back in there.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, it was that's what I did this weekend.
I've been watching a lot of Star Trek Next Generation and catching up. I haven't gone through them on Netflix in like 5 years at least, 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm at season 7, and boy, am I struggling to get through season 7. So if you never watched Star Trek Next Generation, it's a really good show. Obviously, the first season's horrible because it has the trappings. And it's like a bad echo of the original series.
I think parts of it are fun enough, but it's not.
Yeah, but
it's not why people like the Next Generation.
If it continued like that, it would not have lasted.
No, absolutely not.
So the first season's bad. There's like maybe 6 episodes you watch in the first season, and then you move on and never watch it again. Plus, it's Riker without a beard, and no one likes Riker without a beard. It's creepy.
I don't.
That's why you never went clean shaven again after that. Jonathan Frakes. Season 2 finds its footing a little bit. You get Dr. Pulaski. They got rid of Gates McFadden behind the scenes, was not getting along with the writers, or something happened. It was weird. So they wrote her off for a year, and they got Dr. Pulaski as the resident doctor, who isn't a bad character. Some people don't like her. I think she's a fine character. But the second season, it starts to be like, okay, we're not the original Star Trek anymore. We have to do our own thing, establish the characters a little better. Then season 3 is outstanding. Season 3 is probably the best season in terms of combination of stories that really hit the sweet spot of obviously classic sci-fi tales, but there's also, it's for the first time you have shows that actually have good tension and action throughout some of them, and that's when they build in the I think that's when they introduced the Cardassians is in season 3 or 4, and those motherfuckers are like a main villain in a lot of them, but they're like not a true villain because we have like a tense peace treaty with them, or at least a ceasefire.
I remember them.
So that was basically the new villain established. That was like, okay, we got to watch out for these guys. So season 3 is outstanding, and it ends with the Borg, who are introduced in season 2 for the first time, and then they come back for real in season 3 at the end, and that's like the famous best of both worlds two-part that ends season 3, starts season 4. So season 3 and season 4 are like the best seasons to watch. They're probably the best. And then I read behind the scenes also because that's when they started accepting basically fan scripts and ideas. So that's when the ideas really exploded.
Gotcha.
So in season 3, I think it's season 3, they bring back Tasha Yar, who, spoilers, is killed off unceremoniously in season 1 because she wanted off the show, Denise Crosby. So there's an episode called Yesterday's Enterprise in season 3 that is so good. It looks and feels and is shot like it's a movie for like a 45-minute episode. It could have easily been a 2-parter. It's season 3. And it has to do with time travel and an Enterprise in the past and then saving it. And there's an alternate future where we never had the peace treaty with the Klingons, so we're still at war with the Klingons. And it's so good. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but go watch that episode. And they even said after the fact, if we had known we would have done the crossover movie with Star Trek Generations, we would have saved this plot and used it for Generations with the original Enterprise, and it would have been fantastic. And it's almost a shame that because of that, because that Generations movie is trash. Most of the Next Generation movies are trash. You only have one good Next Generation movie out of 4. Nemesis, I hear there's a director's cut that's a lot better, but that Nemesis was bad, and I saw that in theaters. The last Next Generation movie.
I think I saw all 3 of them in theaters. Actually, there's 3 Next Generation movies, right?
Generations, First Contact, Insurrection, which is like a TV movie.
Insurrection, I don't think I ever saw then.
I saw parts of it, but people like the Borg one the best because it's the Borg.
Which one is that?
First Contact. That's the second one. Everyone loves that one.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
But then Nemesis, came out in 2002, and that was so bad and underperformed that they had planned for one final send-off Next Generation movie, and they canceled it because of that, unfortunately.
Maybe I didn't see Nemesis. I think I saw the middle two then.
Yeah, Nemesis supposedly has like 40 minutes cut out of it because they make it into an action movie, and all the character moments are just fucking gone or excised. And so if there's ever
2002,
it's 2002. You had a very
I don't think I saw that one.
You had a very young what the fuck's his name? God, I can't think of anything this morning. The guy Tom Hardy, very young Tom Hardy playing Shinzon, which was the clone. It was the Romulan clone of Picard. It's a terrible plot. That last movie.
Okay, yeah,
it's really
I didn't
bad.
see that one.
You can skip it.
I saw the middle two in theaters with my pops.
Okay. So that's probably the two best ones.
Yeah, First Contact I definitely remember, and I know I saw Generations as well.
Generations is not good to see Shatner at like 65 years old.
Was that the first one?
Well, the first one, that Next Generation, yeah, which has they thought.
Okay, then I saw the first two.
They idiotically thought, well, we have this extremely popular show, but no one's going to see the movie. We have to get back 65-year-old Shatner for no reason and have him throwing punches against Malcolm McDowell for it's Malcolm McDowell for no reason. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that they didn't think that the Star Trek Next Generation cast could carry a movie when they obviously could. Anyway, so season 3 and 4 are great. 5 is hanging in there. Once you get to 6, you realize the cast is still excellent. The direction is excellent. We are really running out of ideas now by season 6. Like I said, it's still a good show, but you see the plots being recycled every like third or fourth episode. And then by season 7, every other episode is some mysterious force took over one of the crew members and changed them, or some mysterious force took over the ship and we can't turn it back on, or we have to. That's like every other episode by like season 7. Like they really are out of ideas. So now I'm just waiting to end like death, this show. But the last 2 episodes, the best of All Good Things, part 1 and 2 is an excellent, if I remember, I don't remember the details, but it's an excellent way to end the series, and everyone loves that. That's how it ends the series. So that's my little Star Trek Next Generation. And then I might get back into Deep Space Nine because I remember enjoying Deep Space Nine a lot more.
Deep Space Nine is fantastic. When I was growing up, I don't know if it was because of how I grew up and how I was appreciating things, but I watched almost all of Next Generation with my dad, and I liked it. I wouldn't really admit it at the time, but I liked it. But Deep Space Nine was where I was like, but I watched it because it was what my dad was watching, and I didn't mind it. Instead of going and doing something else, reading a book, playing with toys, or whatever, I'd go hang out with my dad and watch it. Deep Space Nine was the one that I was like actively invested in, and it's been ages since I've seen it, and I keep telling myself I'm going to rewatch it. I haven't yet.
How good is Quark? Quark is the best character.
Is Deep Space Nine streaming on something right now?
Oh, they're all on Netflix.
Oh, they're all on Netflix. Okay.
They're on Netflix. Voyager's on it as well, and then they're actually also on Prime. I saw them Next Generation on both, but yeah, they're all on Netflix.
I'd watch Deep Space Nine again. I like that sort of space station.
Yeah, it's one long story basically.
Yeah.
Then it gets into Dominion War and things like that. And the last season's a little rocky because they fired the one actress, unfortunately, the Trill.
Yeah.
So they tried to replace her with someone. It didn't work. I hate when they do that with shows. Leave her on for one last year. Anyway. Then she got married to Worf. That's right. Worf came onto the show after Next Generation ended. There was those few weird crossover episodes to introduce them. They go to Deep Space Nine, and then I think the Voyager starts at Deep Space Nine. But, at one point in time, there was 3 Star Trek shows. I think at one point in time, or almost 3 shows at one time. Voyager started.
Next Generation was well over by the time Voyager came out.
Was it well over? I thought it maybe clipped it. When did Voyager come out?
I don't think it clipped it.
Okay, Star Trek Voyager, because Next Generation ended in 94. Maybe it was off by a couple years.
Yeah, I want to say Voyager was like 97.
95, so it was the year afterwards.
All right.
So there was almost a crossover of all 3. So they started, and then because Deep Space Nine started around like 92 or 93. And the great character of Miles O'Brien, who was a side character who started to show up in like season 2 of Next Generation, becomes a main character in Deep Space Nine. Yep. And everyone loves Miles O'Brien. Everyone loves him. The wife, she can get annoying, but she has her place there too in the show. But yeah, great. So I get disappointed when I hear about the Picard show because everyone says it's not like how it used to be. It's like more the new movie style. It's like I want a show like Next Generation back. I want a show like Deep Space Nine. I want a show like that again.
I haven't watched any of the Picard show, and I haven't watched any of the other one. What was it, Discovery?
Yeah, I just heard they're more flashy, like the new movie style. I'm like, I want the old style.
I respect, like, I have friends whose opinions I respect who are Star Trek fans, and I've heard some people love it, some people really don't like it. But my dad, he's who got me into Star Trek in any way, shape, or form. He loves it. So I feel like I should probably watch it at some point.
I probably will
but
at some point.
He said it's to him it's kind of, as good as it's ever been. But I'll see.
I just heard some weird things about how Picard acts in it.
No, not Picard. Discovery.
Oh, Discovery.
Yeah,
Oh.
Discovery. My dad hasn't watched the new Picard
Okay,
series
for Discovery, I heard that season 2 is a lot better than season 1. That they kind of corrected some of the weird stuff in season 1.
Knowing how my dad can binge TV, he probably got through season 1 pretty quick and into season 2. So I would guess that his opinion's colored by season 2 more than anything.
But they did announce Strange New Worlds, which is going to be old style Trek, basically Commander Pike. So the Enterprise before Captain Kirk, and they straight up said this is going to be more old fashioned, where it's going to be like standalone episodes, because Picard is like a whole, like one big story. That flesh that. How do we talk about Star Trek so much?
I don't know. Let's move on.
But I want to talk about Star Trek for so long. That's what I want to talk about there. Paper Mario Origami.
Yeah,
came out.
Paper Mario: The Origami King was announced.
It looks cute.
Looks cute. There was rumors going around that the next one was supposed to be a return to form. It does not look like it's really going back to the original Paper Mario or Thousand Year Door style battle system. Looks to be a little bit more like the more recent ones, but it looks great. I will probably wait for reviews on this. I really liked the first 2 Paper Mario games. I definitely want something that's more of an RPG. This
looks like it has action sequence in it too.
Yeah, it's got RPG stuff too and action stuff.
So it's an action RPG. Yeah.
No, I mean it looks like there's turn-based battles in it as well.
Yeah, so it's like an action RPG kind of. So it works in a little bit of both.
Okay. It looks good. They dropped the announcement out of nowhere.
Nintendo's like they're starting to do this. I like it.
Well, and I mean they haven't done so. They said that there isn't going to be direct for a while. But this is they dropped this announcement and it literally comes out July 17th.
July 17th. So it's like 2 months away.
That's incredibly close. So I wonder if with the current health crisis, if they didn't want to do a direct and announce things that maybe could get screwed up scheduling wise, and instead are just announcing things as they're almost ready to come out. Who knows?
I mean,
who knows what it is, but I mean, we're still getting games. So
it gets you pumped for a single release that everyone's probably going to buy and talk about, like with Animal Crossing. Yeah. I said before, I love that they're doing this. I'm like, oh, it's almost done. It's coming out. I love how someone said it looks like a David Lynch film, this trailer, and I don't totally disagree. Like, there's some trippy imagery in this trailer. This looks like they went off. They said we're gonna do something a little more artsy and fun, which is what Paper Mario's known for, right?
I was gonna say, if you played any Paper Mario games, there was nothing honestly in the trailer that surprised me, just because this is how the Paper Mario games generally play. This one looks like it's leaning a lot on the paper puns and stuff like that.
I love that there's like multiple shots of there's the ninjas on the ceiling. It's just a cool look. It's like there's cinematic looking shots in this trailer. That's the best way I can describe it. Here, there's that little string monster that's like weirdly dancing at like 144 in. I'm like, that doesn't look like a typical like Nintendo first party game. There's just a lot of weird stuff here, right? So, yeah, I have a little experience with these games before. I've seen Norm play them on Twitch a little bit. That's about it. But I love the paper art style of the Origami stuff. I love the fact that we have a villain that we have to learn about. So
yeah, they look fantastic. These games always look excellent. So
it's adorable. There's like little mini games. It looks like it's adorable.
You wanted to talk about your Game of the Year, Clubhouse Games?
Yes, Game of the Year. Game of the Year, Clubhouse Games, 51 Worldwide Classics. So what was funny about this is that they put out another trailer that's it's almost 6 minutes long. So it goes into a little more detail. And they say at the beginning of the trailer, or it's not really a trailer, the video's like, oh, we're going to explain the games to you. And they do explain some of the games too, like in like 15, 20 seconds, like hounds and hares. Like you have 3 hounds to trap the 1 hare. Okay, it makes sense.
Right.
What was it like the Mancala explains what the game is and some of the history. Then they skip over some of those. It's like they got tired of it. They'll skip. Oh, like Chinese checkers. They explain that. Oh, it actually didn't come from China. It came from England. Like, I didn't know that. Okay, that's cool. And I love Chinese checkers. And then some it just skips over. But yes, it's clear that like 4 in a row is Connect 4. It's clear that they have their own version of Uno. It's clear as day it's Uno.
Right.
They skipped. What was the one they skipped over? I thought was funny. They started skipping over when they got to whatever their Renegade, which is basically Othello. That's when they just skipped it. They said it's Renegade. They move on.
Why would you call that Renegade? That doesn't make any sense.
I guess they don't want to use is Reversi the generic?
Yeah, Reversi is the generic term. Renegade. What? I mean, what? Nothing about the game sounds like
Nintendo does their own thing. They buy by their own rules.
Clubhouse Games isn't made by Nintendo though.
Well, they're pushing it. I mean, they're publishing it, aren't they?
Maybe they are, but still, they wouldn't.
Yeah,
developers' agenda. But yeah, they're being the publisher here.
Yeah, you got you have Mario on the backs of the playing cards for some of this stuff.
Did you know that Othello was the first game I downloaded for my Nintendo Switch when I got it? The first game
was it actually Othello or Reversi?
Yeah, no, actually Othello. The first game I bought for my Nintendo Switch and played was Othello. I fucking love Othello, and I'm bad at it.
You're bad at it?
Well, let me put it this way. Against actual players, I'm really fairly decent, but it's interesting. If you read up on like AI and for like board games and stuff, Othello is it's actually very, very hard to make an AI that is stupid in Othello.
Yes.
Either the AI, because of how Othello is played, either the AI is generally like spot on and insanely difficult, or it would literally just be making random moves and hoping for the best. It's very hard to get something in between. Like with chess or something like that, you can slowly ratchet up the difficulty. By the time you get to even like if it's out of like 10, by the time you get to like 3 or 4 in a like a Reversi game, you may as well be playing on 10.
I mean, Spot's kind of based upon that, the Spot game for NES, and even that I remember playing it even on low difficulty. I don't remember beating the computer easily. Playing that Spot game. Yacht Dice is Yahtzee. We know that. It's funny how they try to explain it. It's like it's a dice poker game. That's how they try to explain it. And it's like, yeah, kind of, because you can have a straight and you can have 3 or 4 of a kind. So basically, there's board games and they have the card games, where they show last card, which is Uno. I mean, what else are you gonna call it?
Sure.
Because I'm sure there's an Uno game available, and they're eating their lunch with this Clubhouse Games. There's War. Then they go into the toy tennis stuff, and then they go into the darts and the bowling, which is using motion controls. So there you go. You got your little Wii bowling kind of. Air hockey, variety games, which is you literally get your shooting gallery, which is it's literally looks just like the Wii Play shooting gallery. It is that. Then you get the little tank game, slot cards. Then you get into the little things that they're featuring that's interesting. Like with the slot card game, you can line up 4 different switch tablets and make your own course going around all 4. That's cool. And then discovery that for a lot of these games you can play up to 4 people with one game. So if I bring over my Switch Lite, you have your Switch, a couple of people, then one game we can play local fun games together.
Local fun games.
It's never done before. And then talking about you choose up to 3 games to match with other people, then you play that. And there's also a little trivia involved telling you about the games. And there's also a little cute little thing where it's like, okay, a little tutorial. It's like, I want, you ask basically the computer what type of game to play, and then it recommends games based upon your mood, which is like a weird thing. So it's like, I like the kind of games you can just pick up and play using touch controls, and then it'll throw out the choices for you. So anyway, not to make too much
filtering options.
Yeah, but it's poking you, basically. You're poking it to recommend games. So anyway, I'm going to get this for sure. I mean, I'm going to play this for sure.
Yeah, I'll get it. And it's one of those things where I'll probably... I think that one makes sense probably to get digitally, because you can just fire it up whenever.
Oh, sure.
I think that's a good idea.
We can get our Renegade or Texas Hold'em or chess game going. We can pick the 3 and we can match that.
Speaking of family fun... Jay Allard joined the Intellivision team. Jay Allard is well known for being one of the original people who worked on the Xbox, the original Xbox, the co-founder. He had a press conference. The photo will always stick out in my mind of him wearing a hoodie with a blazer over it, like a jacket coat.
Oh, really?
Over it. Yes.
You went for comfort.
Got nothing bad to say about Jay Allard. Don't really have much more to say about the Amico, but much like a lot of these things, I don't know what it really means besides,
Get your name in the paper. Get your name out there.
Get your name in the
your
paper.
Products.
Paycheck, and much like I think Reggie, took the job with GameStop and is going to collect himself a paycheck and move on. That will probably happen here too.
Yeah. See, the issue is when you hire someone like this so late in the process, the specs of the Amico, it's locked up. They're going into production to get this out. If this is going to come out in October, they have to go produce this now.
This has to be in production, like right now.
So the marketing strategy is done because you have your games in development, which is part of your marketing strategy for the most part. They're tied together. Your software and your marketing strategy. The controllers are unfortunately finished, and you can't go backwards on those controllers,
right?
Which are bad. So this would have been the guy to hire 2.5, 3 years ago, before you unveiled the plan and what it was going to look like. Now, in this point in time, is it an advantage to get someone that's been in the industry for this amount of time? It absolutely is. But as we talked about last week with the Quibi, when you have a $1.8 billion company that's on the verge of disaster, being run by people with a lot of experience with successful things like Jeffrey Katzenberg, who used to freaking run Disney, and helped get DreamWorks going. Meg Whitman was a CEO of Hewlett Packard. It doesn't matter who you hire to work at your company if your product is problematic.
What I think people forget, and like I said, this is not directed at Jay Allard or anyone like that, but these things that succeed. Yes, there is one name. There are always a couple of names that you can point to, but it's a team effort. Not one of these people is sitting there making all of this happen themselves. And I don't think any of those people would tell you that they're the only people who made it. So being excited and constantly being like, we've got this person from this team or this person from this team, it doesn't really mean anything.
No, I'm sure that Quibi has the best and brightest working for them. They probably recruited from Netflix and Hulu and other streaming services the best they could. And it doesn't matter if you have a bad idea.
Right. The smartest people on the planet cannot fix a bad idea that there is no market for.
And like I said, if you were starting with these people 3 years ago to create and figure out the market, because let's put it this way.
If you weren't locked into the idea, if it was part of a creative process, if this was your team, if this was your brainstorm team, then that would be something to be perhaps far more excited about.
Yeah, the path is set at this point.
But, paying money to bring on a name that, was and once again, no offense, that, a lot of people remember from the original Xbox. We're talking early 2000s.
Yeah. And then for every person that
what's their input? I mean, unless you're gonna put it off by a year and just let them. Anyways, I don't really want to talk about this anymore. But that's what I have to say.
Because Phil Spencer even said, "Hey, good luck to you. You have a vision there," and it's like you get your name out there. Hopefully it's worth the salary and whatever compensation for this person to come on board, because it's a short blip at this point in time. If the teams mattered, again, you would not have had the spectacular failures we have had for products that have come out in the past 20 years from smart people working on things, and then they just fall flat in their faces. Smart people, were working on lots of ideas that went defunct. I mean, it's just the way it works. It is what it is. That's what business is. You have a good product or you don't. And when people look at the product on your shelf, they don't give a shit about who works on it behind the scene. They just want to say, "Oh, is that worth my dollars in my pocket?" And that's it.
Right. I think that's a lot people don't realize. They're not going to look at the Amico and go, "Oh, Jay Allard," or "Oh, Tommy Tallarico, I'm going to buy this." No, they're going to decide, is this worth $250?
Well, for the pre-orders, that's what some people have done. But
I mean, in general.
No.
I mean, at retail.
No, that's not going to sell at retail. The retail audience is different than this pre-order audience, as we've known, as been established there. So it is what it is. And we'll see what happens in 5 months there. Speaking of nostalgia, Ian, Chuck E. Cheese was in the news a little bit recently, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, so Chuck E. Cheese was in. I saw it coming up online yesterday because Chuck E. Cheese is now apparently Chuck E. Cheese apparently has a Grubhub. I think it's Grubhub presence, maybe DoorDash. One of those delivery
Has an identity.
one of those delivery companies. They have a different identity on there called Pescali's. Which is a name of one of their animatronic animals, I guess. And basically, they pretend to just be a regular old pizzeria that you can order food from. This came up in the news yesterday. Also, Hooters does it as Hootie's like neighborhood burger bar or something, and there's no picture of the owl or anything. That one's the link is a little bit more obvious, but if you're just scrolling and you see a different logo, you might not think it.
Sure.
This was heavily criticized, and I understand why.
I think it's hysterical.
It was heavily criticized yesterday when it came up because lots of people are staying indoors. Lots of people want to support local restaurants. And there was some concern that this would be taking money from the local restaurants. Basically, they're deceiving you. They're something that they are not, especially like the Hootie's one, neighborhood bar. Like okay, you're really pulling on the heartstrings. That said, I don't think this is actually a new thing. It could be for Hootie's, but I was talking last year with Eric from Retail Archaeology, and I don't remember if it was when he was in town or what, but we were chatting about something, and I brought up the Chuck E. Cheese pizza, and I think he said, it's not great, but it's not bad. And if I'm misremembering this, Eric can correct me, but I think he said, did you know that they also that they're on like Grubhub or something? And he explained the basic idea to me. I think this news came out last year that Chuck E. Cheese, maybe not everywhere, but was doing this in certain markets, basically selling their pizza as a restaurant, as a delivery restaurant, as opposed to just being in store. So it's very weird.
This is the Business Insider. And put the link here, Business Insider, so you see it. I think this is the funniest thing. Because if you order this by accident, I just think it's funny.
Yeah, I've seen this.
Pasquale, is that what it is? Pasquale's Pizza and Wings is the name of it. Named after another favorite member of Munch's make-believe band, shares kitchen space with the Chuck E. Cheese restaurant. A Chuck E. Cheese spokesperson told Business Insider. A Reddit user was surprised to discover that the pizza she ordered from Pasquale's Pizza, which she thought was a local pizzeria, actually came from Chuck E. Cheese. Oh my God. So the spokesperson told Business Insider that Pasquale's Pizza is a new delivery-only premium pizza brand operating from Chuck E. Cheese kitchens. Okay. I had Chuck E. Cheese 2 years ago at a party for a couple of youngsters there that I was at. Which makes me sound like I'm Al Bundy from that episode where he keeps going to children's birthday parties to get free pizza.
Pasquale is the name of the chef, by the way, not a band member. There's a lore chef in
There's
Chuck
a chef?
E. Cheese. Yes, and his name is Pasquale.
He's the guy, but he's the animal making the
Yes.
pizza. So this is what I want to say about Chuck E. Cheese pizza. It's not terrible for a party pizza. I've had worse pizza than Chuck E. Cheese pizza. Little Caesar's hot and ready pizza is a worse pizza than Chuck E. Cheese pizza. I will go on record and say that right now.
Sure.
I will say that, and I'm confident because when I had the Chuck E. Cheese pizza, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have a couple more slices. It wasn't bad. I'm not saying they have all the toppings available. I think they had pepperoni. Obviously, they had plain. I think they may have veggie.
Sure.
You're not gonna get your variety. You're not gonna get like your eggplant and meatball Long Island pizza that we had last year. God, no, my mouth was watering. Intermittent fasting, but it's a decent pizza. I want to see the prices. I want to now almost try this for a lark. I'm sure some people would as well. And how else is Chuck E. Cheese going to make business? That's like the last thing that's going to open up is an arcade that everyone's putting their hands all over everything.
I'm sorry, I just want to read this small paragraph because it hurts my brain. It's just all the things I hate. Just Salad CEO Nick Kenner told Business Insider that Health Tribe's sales have been more than doubled since the pandemic began. I think virtual brands are a great thing for restaurants to be exploring right now.
What the fuck
virtual
is Just Salad?
Brands is something that makes me want to throw up.
What the fuck is Just Salad? Is that a home of the reusable bowl, the fastest service in town? 10 plus items under $10. What the hell? Just Salad is a chain of fast casual restaurants that serve salads, wraps, smoothies, soups, grain bowls, market plates, and toast boxes. Toast boxes! I don't think I'll ever maybe step into a Just Salad. What the hell's a toast box? Now I'm going down the rabbit
I don't want to know. Can we please stay focused?
Okay.
I don't want to know.
Okay. All right. So that's it for we're finding more weird stories happening during the certain global crisis. Like it's already spun out of control. 2020. We're not even halfway through this yet.
Oh, just quickly, I forgot to mention it. Speaking of weird things, some things remain comfortably the same. Yesterday was my first day back at work, and someone not wearing any pants ran through the parking lot, so that was great.
Is that a Tales from the Game Store tidbit?
Absolutely not. Moving on.